Alright guys, here we're going to talk about the movie The Neverending Story.
Is the answer to a never-ending story.
1984 is The Neverending Story, Lee. I'm positive you've seen this one.
Yes, I have. I was going to say. No, I missed it somehow.
Yeah, this watch was the first watch that I don't know why, but my mind always associated the Empress as Thora Birch. and the timeline doesn't work at all. It's not her.
It's obviously not her, but
no, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you got Thora Birch thing
But
going on.
my child mind had seen this with a bunch of other things with her, and I was like, for some reason that was her. No.
I respect it.
Yeah, but this movie's a classic. I think most kids of the right age here have seen this. I'm not sure if this is carried on into the the mainstay of the younger generations here, if they grow up in the same thing. Like certain movies, I'm like, oh yes, everyone's seen that, and like you pass that down to your kids and stuff. I'm not sure if The Neverending Story is one of those.
I feel bad for the kids.
Yeah, this is definitely fun. There's a lot of shit here that like primed your young mind.
No, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of good, interesting like throwback effects that we always like.
Oh yeah,
and everything. I also felt very differently on this watch than I felt in previous watches.
Really?
I don't think it sucks or it's bad, but I have like a different take on things. Things hit me different now that I'm an old man.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
I think my mind also mixes all of them together.
True.
So like I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. When this ends, you're like, wait, no, there's what? No, okay.
Yeah.
It feels like it ends weirdly because I think, either TV or just renting or watching or home, like whatever.
Yeah.
You'd seen at least the second one, if not, multiples different times, and this is like the first origin slow one compared to the other ones. Like
sure. And this is the only kid that's like not in other things that like I recognize. So you're like, oh, where's the kid from Sequest? And where's Sebastian from Free Willy? Like those guys who are more more around that you're like, oh, I'm familiar. I know your work.
And this is like an older movie too, where it has a certain
there's a
feel
charm
and stuff. Yeah, but
all right. So I'm pretty sure you've seen this. If you want to hear us talk about it, follow us over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of The Neverending Story. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
I wish it had been longer so I could be like, more like Neverending Movie. But it's like a tight 90. It's like a short movie.
It moves pretty good.
I was kind of pissed.
It's a racing snail.
I think it has a lot going for it with its back and forth into this boy's actual reality and his fantasy land, or I guess everyone's fantasy land. I think that's like a powerful thing. I think in my memory of, because I haven't watched this one in a couple, in probably at least 10 years.
Same.
And again, like I said, I mixed them all together. In my head, he spends a lot more time with other fantasy things. Like he got to go in there, with Atreyu and stuff, but that's not this movie.
Right.
But this movie has a lot going for it.
This is the origin story. This is where it all began.
No, like you have Atreyu, this badass, like Native American character with his killer horse here. I do love how like the horse is like smart and like listen, it's time to eat.
I know what you want. It's time to eat.
So you gotta move. I'll do this thing, like carrying shit around, like
have all these things with the horse.
Yeah, Artax. It's a cool name.
So like I have like an up and down thing with this.
Okay.
The horse, everyone else was always like, oh, it's so sad. Oh, the horse dies. I can't believe it.
What's the matter?
Oh, that thing with the horse. Neverending Story, horse. That was like everyone's thing. Watching it now, I'm like, I don't know this horse. I'm not upset. The kid's upset, but like I feel like there should have been one more stop on the quest before, because they're just like, they chill out by the river and the horse is there. But I would have liked one trial before the turtle so that we could have, we could become
a little more attached
to the horse.
I think it's just in general at that point in time, I hadn't seen any live action thing where like they killed an animal.
Yes.
And then there was the rumor that it actually died. The mechanism broke, and the kid's tears were real because the horse was dying in front of him. That is not true. That didn't happen.
Okay.
They actually offered to give him that horse after the movie, but because it was filmed in Germany and he was not from Germany, it was too difficult to get it back.
We can't extradite the horse.
Yeah, there was a holding period, and then that would happen.
I would love them like, you want this horse? And he's like, I do, and then cocks a shotgun, and you're like, oh no, what's he gonna do to the horse?
Cry for it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, like the kid's performance is good and it's very impactful and the way he's singing is cool and all that. But as an adult, I'm like dead inside. So I'm like, whose horse? What is this? I've barely gotten a chance to become emotionally involved here. So
you're an audio guy. Did any of that trigger you?
Well, that's one of my other topics, is that this has one of the worst audio mixes I've ever encountered in our time watching mostly shitty movies. By the way, do you agree, or are you like fishing for that?
The biggest walkaway is Atreyu. It's not his voice.
You're sinking! Come on! Turn around! You have to now!
Well, it sounds weird there, but so
like that's the thing you could. I thought you were gonna latch onto.
No.
The overall issues, I suppose.
We're taking like a detour here now from the other thing, but the dialogue is super low volume.
Yeah.
And it's often not sitting right with whatever background or ambience there might be. So I naturally start turning up the volume. Then we get to one of the 27 epic, super loud, epic.
A window
things.
breaks and
Well, they play these like music stinger, operatic epic quest noise.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is actually like malpractice or something. It's actually bad. What are you doing? It's one of the worst ones. I'm like, I know compression is like the bad thing, but this would have benefited from someone normalizing the volume levels a little bit. And I was like, is it just me? Did I haven't changed anything about my setup? We were constantly watching movies. I've never had something this bad where the audio levels have been that much of an issue.
Yeah, things jumble a bit on this, but the visuals carry you out. I think
no, not a deal breaker. I'm not saying the movie's shit.
The combination of just some of these, you got your rock, biker dude, which sounds totally different when you say it if you don't know what I'm talking about.
I thought his name was Rock Biter.
He's a rock. Yes, that is what he is. A rock biter, but he is on a bike, so he is a rock biker.
Yeah.
Yes, you have your racing snail.
He's a pebble peddler, if you know what I'm saying.
A pebble pusher.
A boulder roller, if you know what I mean.
That stupid sleepy bat guy. I love that.
Kiss? No, he's a rock biter. A rock biter. A rock biter.
We got this racing snail.
That guy's understated.
Trio.
So he's like a goblin or something.
Yes.
And he might be the strongest character in that world.
Okay, go on.
If you look at his hang glider, it does not have a piece that sits underneath
him.
He has forearm bicep strength, holding his whole body in a Superman pose the entire time they fly, day and night.
Yep, he has incredible core strength. He's planking.
The man is planking using nothing but biceps and forearms.
He's planking on nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I knew this as a kid too, where I was like, what's going on with that? That is not how that works.
Yeah.
They could have done a shot of the bat's back legs, like holding up that guy's ankles or something like that, but they chose not to. They chose to let your childlike mind wander and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a number of things that are in the book that they just couldn't do the right way.
Well, they were like, what does hang gliding look like? It looks like this. Well, his legs wouldn't be. Shut up, don't show his legs. Okay. And they just went with it.
So I don't think I ever read the books in their entirety. I think there was something that we got them, and it's like we tried a little bit, and I was like, I'm reading this shit.
You're like, this book is not as magic as the film. I didn't know there were books concretely, or if I knew, I forgot until this rewatch. When you see on the trivia of the rights to the books are owned by this person. Okay.
Yeah, the guy who made the books hates the movie.
Sure.
The movie is only, I think, the first third or half of the first novel.
Yeah.
There's I think 2 TV shows of this. I think one a cartoon, one a live action that I think the writer liked a little bit better. I like the idea that in the book that Atreyu is green, they blend in with the earth, and that's how they can hunt those buffaloes that no one else can get and stuff.
Book sucks so much.
Yeah. They tried to do it for
Imagine a fully green guy. Come on.
Well, it depends how it's done.
I know. I'm picturing something very funny.
I picture a grass textured human.
Okay.
And they blend almost
from Hunger Games, that awful scene.
Peter!
Everybody always talks
about? Yeah, I guess.
Because I'm picturing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the morph suit when he saw.
I'm picturing more like blending in with your surroundings, kind of like that episode of Xena with the Amazons on the water, where it's boom, and the eyes open oh, there's a person there.
His name is Atreyu.
Because it's already weird that he's a child. He's the greatest warrior. What?
No, and that's a funny scene in that intro. There's more great effects in that intro when everyone's gathered.
Different people members there.
The big head people freaked me out, and I'm super into it, and brought back childhood memories. But yeah, Morpheus guy is just get out of the way, kid. We're waiting for the warrior.
I'm sorry, but this is not the time and place for children. I must ask you to leave.
If you don't want me here,
You shouldn't have sent for me.
And he's like, I am the warrior. And he's like, what? Oh no.
I don't know why they even got a warrior, because they go, and give us your weapons.
Those are the rules of the quest, Stephen.
Who set these rules?
It is written.
It's so
I have
dumb.
no idea.
Like,
No. No, the movie's patterned after some, and like it does a good job, I think, of showing you all these things, but not like it's not like if it was just a like real story, if it was like not that kids know Homer's Odyssey or something, but if it was aping off of some real thing, you'd be like, oh, of course, we all know why you can't bring weapons, but they just like throw things out there. Oh, you can't do it. No, you have to do it. Oh no, the pure of heart can do this. Wait, what if I just run really fast? Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, a knight gets straight up killed by like a Medusa-style statue that shoots like a laser, and then like he's gonna get got, but he's got the power of speed.
I was so pissed off on the rewatch. I was so pissed off at this. As a kid, I was like, wow, he made it. But now I'm like, he's not, because like the old dude.
He is not the worthy one potentially.
No, the old dude says, oh, only someone who does not doubt themselves can go through the thing. And I'm like, okay, this is like because like you think, oh, statue is big, imposing, shooting. Okay, I have to fight them. No, you have to find inner peace, and then you can walk through, and it's great. He just runs, and they shoot. He's marked for death.
Yes.
He just tricks the targeting sensors. And like they don't kill him.
He made it past the threshold, and now he's fine.
It's so dumb.
Oh, what's even dumber to me is that next step where it's like, oh, the second stage, it's so much harder.
It's a mirror.
And like, he just lays like, And that was it. There was nothing there.
So like two big statues, a mirror that's nothing, the same two big statues again. I was pissed off again. I'm like, what is this, a video game where it's like, oh, the next boss is just the other boss, a different color?
Yeah.
What's going on? But then they start crumbling, and I'm like, okay, the crumbling's okay.
The crumbling was pretty cool.
Okay.
There's a couple of shots where it's like just Atreyu like walking, and just the landscape and how things are done, and what must be like matte paintings and doubling. It's like just done just in a way where you're like, oh man, things just looked awesome.
No,
back
beautiful
in the day.
matte paintings, otherworldly scenes. We'll loop back to the turtle is great. His face.
The
is
turtle
so
is fantastic, and the sneezing. And he repeatedly getting knocked on his ass. I love that shit, especially because it's cool looking now. You're like, look at this crazy fucking turtle thing. And like, he is the mountain. And then like as a kid, the sneeze thing would have had me dying. I'd be like, oh god, he got him again.
Please help me. You said you knew the answer.
I'm allergic to you.
Because he holds on tight, and the guy's like, oh, I'm good. And then gets him. The timing of it's humorous. But yeah, all the mud on him, climbing the tree, everything feels
he's getting
so
cut. They're like,
dirty.
there are injuries being shown.
It's
Like,
really
oh, man,
cool.
this is a legit movie. Like, what the fuck?
Like the facial stuff, Falcor's like this too. They move, and like the nose crinkles, and the eyes like blink, and they blink differently.
Forget it. Goodbye.
Everything's so articulating and stuff that it really like. I'm like, oh man, this is even better than I remember.
Falcor got better, I think, with each movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
They put a lot of time and effort into him, and like in this, I just to jump to the ending there, I'm like, what the fuck is that when Falcor comes into our world and scares the bullies? The bullies, which like start the whole movie off because they throw him in a dumpster, and then he steals a book. Our main character is a book thief, but he was kind of set up to be a book thief because the guy like runs the shop is like, I know this will be good.
Great.
Like,
let's put a pin in that. And yes, the bullies. See, it's poetry. They rhyme the bookends of like first. In the beginning he's getting bullied, and then by the end he's the bully. See, it's growth. It's character growth. Yes, and I think other people on the street are
see it
running away. So it's not this weird. It's like it's violating all the rules or anything that should happen. I'm sure they just ignore it in the sequels, right? There's no newspaper headline. I was also pissed because again I'm an old man now, where I'm like, I know his father sucked, and I know there wasn't a lot for him in this world, but none of that's like resolved. He's just a kid on like an egg carton now. It's just his father like drinking himself to death, and like this,
drinking eggs,
drinking
OJ eggs,
drinking himself to death, salmonella, and like the school, him like suing in the school, you lost my kid. The attic is all messed up now, and no one knows what happened to this kid.
cool addict, though.
That's crazy. But like, there's no resolution to the story.
He didn't really learn anything about him.
Nothing happening.
You would have thought that he would be living vicariously through Atreyu and learn something that he learns, and it would be his whole business. But
he has to learn to follow his dreams. He has to learn to believe enough in the fantasy story of the book to open the window and scream out the name, right? And that's supposed to be his growth. He says, no, I have to keep my feet on the ground.
Do what you dream, Bastion. But I can't. I have to keep my feet on the ground.
He's like thinking about, back to his father, right? So this, in theory, could have been like, oh, now he's able to manage and like coexist in these two worlds. You see him like, like getting back a test A+. You see his father being like, yeah, you're doing great.
He should get the A+, but it should be a creative writing class, and it would double down on his fucking things.
Or he's like functional in his life, right? And then goes home, cracks open the book, and then he's like back because now he's doing both. Like his pursuit of those creative, interesting fantasy things then helps him, like instead of getting rid of all that stuff to become like a functional human being, him embracing all that stuff makes him a functional human
what I wanted,
being.
They alluded to it potentially, or maybe I just wanted it so bad that I said this thing happened because it's not true. I was like, no, what it will happen is the name he'll shout will be his mom's name, he'll get over her death, and this will be this whole thing. But really, in the book, he shouts Moonchild, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that?
Oh God, I'm glad they changed it. So like, I have a distinct memory of being embarrassed and upset as a kid, where I was like, you don't even hear like the name he shouts, and then someone else is like, it's his mom's name, and I'm like, what the fuck, like what are you talking about? Because there's a line in like the middle where he goes, my mom has a great name.
My mother, she had such a wonderful name.
Yes. And you're just supposed to believe that that's his mom. Yeah, but as a kid, I didn't make that connection to pick up on that. So I was just like, what the hell? And then I'm like, why don't you hear his name? And yes, there's no growth there with the father, and like he's not getting over the death of his mother either.
Yeah,
because
that's what you would have think. Because that's a lesson you could actually teach kids. Like this thing, like, oh no, she won't be forgotten. She'll live on in your memories. She's the name of the Empress, who I think is always called the Empress in every movie after this still. So he did not give her a name.
Accidentally calls her mom in the third one. It gets awkward. She's like, I'm not into that. Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She's trapped in a dryer now. It's weird.
She's only in this one too. It's a different lady plays the Empress in each one. Yeah.
Our world will disappear. And so will I.
Which, I don't know, my mind, I guess, latched onto this one.
There's something to that where the story is never ending, but the actors change. I kind of like that it's different every time, right? There's something about that.
And part of that's just people aging.
Obviously, there's practical concerns too,
This Atreyu way better than the next Atreyu for sure.
I have failed you, Empress.
No, you haven't.
This is the Atreyu, in my humble opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I am Atreyu.
You mentioned the bookseller, though, who clearly entrapped him into stealing the magic book type of thing.
What's that book about?
Oh, this is something special.
Which I was like, and that guy knows how the book works. He's reading it.
Yeah.
So like in my head, I was like, oh, is that a thing? Is that the old guy who was like, I can't be the one to heal Fantasia. It has to be, I have to trick a kid into doing it, right?
Well, because
like,
I wonder if you read it and then I read it, is it the same story? So like, does he read it and go like, oh no, we need a young man. Got one. Like,
I don't know.
Or when he reads it, does it say, I need an old guy? Like, I don't know.
Well, so I would be interested, and this is not even hinted at, I would be interested if his book says, a young boy comes into your bookstore and like you have to pass the book along to them or something. Your story is not ending, but he is the one we're going to follow now or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. But that would be some little hint, because he just smiles through like the glass of the two like rooms, and you're like, oh,
okay, it's
in what is happening?
Exactly.
What if that kid was like, haha, throws the book away, and it's like, whatever.
I don't know.
But
I love the symbol on the book, and that's the symbol. What is it
woven
called?
snakes.
Orin? Orin, yeah. The Orin, it's on the necklace. It's the thing there. It's like the symbol of power or what have you. Steven Spielberg was like, pivotal in like getting this all made, and he has the original one in his office still.
Ooh, girl.
And I'm like, that's a little cool namesake
to
have. I like that.
Takeaway thing,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind one of those necklaces myself.
I wouldn't mind the original prop from a famous movie.
Take this. He who wears the Orin speaks for the Empress. It will guide and protect you.
We didn't really talk about Falkor much. Like a luck dragon is a very cool thing to have.
My God.
Like when you think about like I'm assembling a team, that's something that's super powerful to have because you can seemingly do anything through the power of luck.
Having a luck dragon with you is the only way to go on a quest.
There's a point where it's probably at the end when it's like, we have to get to the end of Fantasia, and Falcor's like, don't worry, we'll get there. And he goes, do you know how to get there? And he goes, I have no idea. And this is amazing.
Do you know when they are?
I have no idea.
Then how do we find a human child?
With luck.
Because he's like, listen, I'm a luck dragon. I just pick a direction and we get there. Dude,
And he flies, 10,000 miles in like a couple of hours?
You're riding in style. Don't worry. No, he's a luck dragon. He finds a wormhole to wherever he has to go. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. Best character definitely though, or I should say team, those two like little people,
I forgot
the elves or whatever.
The boy will need my scientific advice much more.
Yes, but not until he's well dead.
I forgot these little Keebler people were so
my God,
tiny.
their whole set, his like in the basket, like push woman, like and like him flying down. And
Come on, lazy bones. Can't you go any faster?
The wench.
Oh my God, so good.
You know, like the telescope is just like some crystals glued to a Lazy Susan.
Yeah.
It's this nice little prop thing. Yeah. No, it's great. I forgot that the scale was so off that she hands him like a big mug. And he's like, why, thank you. It takes a little tiny thing. I was like, oh man. But I remember those characters because I always get them confused with Miracle Max, Bill Crystal, and Carol Kane and everything. To Blythe and everything. I'm like, cool. So this is like them in this, that version of them.
Yeah. They remind me of the skinnier version of the guy from He-Man, the movie.
I remember the days we didn't have to lock our doors. Those days will come back. Oh, yes.
Oh, the little Gwildor.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a time we didn't have to lock our doors. Those times will come again.
Yeah, he has like the same kind of house.
He has big Gwildor energy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wait! Stay here. The observatory. To the wench.
Try to skydives with no parachute at one point and lives. And I'm like,
yeah.
What?
So this is in my category of like the pacing or whatever it's called. Like I get that every thing's a little vignette of like the quest and stuff, but a lot of the transitions are he passes out or
that
he
one
appears
particularly
somewhere.
is they pulled a scene out because it didn't work.
Oh, interesting.
So that's their first exposure like one-on-one with the nothing, and that's what makes them get separated. But it's supposed to be wind giants.
Look, Atreyu, the nothing!
That they're fighting.
Well, there you go.
And they're like, we don't have it. Fuck.
They just show like
and
the camera plunging into the water, and then you're like, what? And then
they
wakes up.
retconned it and made it the nothing. And
okay.
It for knowing that, I'm like, it works.
Exactly.
But that's definitely a jarring scene.
Yeah, and like the jarring of that put me in the mindset of looking at all of the different jars and being like, it's a weird jar. Like before I forget, I love at the end there though when he now sees all the like old paintings on the walls.
Those are amazing.
Of his quest.
There's so many of them.
Yes.
And then this is the first time that like he gets to really, because he almost gets hit by what's the thing called, like the war or some shit.
Oh, his name is like Hamalch or something.
Whatever
horrible.
the fucking
the
big wolf, yeah.
The nothing wolf.
So like that almost gets him, but we first get introduced to Falkor and he saves him, and now we're like one-on-one. We know we're fighting this guy, and you're like, how did he travel 10,000 miles? I don't know. It's not important.
No, and I'm still confused as to how he knew that he was tracking Atreyu and like had his scent, but doesn't know the person in front of him right now is Atreyu.
I lost him in the swamps of sadness. His name was Atreyu.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
It is.
And I remember still when he because he stabs him and he pushes the thing off.
Yes. For a children's movie.
Yes.
That's pretty graphic.
Exactly. I still remember the wolf really freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah,
the eyes.
it's creepy.
I think the voice a lot too is like breathy voice.
If you come any closer, I will rip you to shreds.
But as an adult, I'm like, listen, if I had to rank the turtle and Falcor and him, because his whole face is also moving, but it shouldn't be. The nose is moving every time he's talking. It's very over-articulated, and I'm like, you suck.
Foolish boy. Don't you know anything?
Turn down the lights again. Just let me see your glowing eyes more. That was scary. Now you suck.
It was very, very articulated. It moved. Its arms moved during their little like combatant scene. They almost permanently blinded Atreyu apparently.
Wow.
And like whatever the shot that's in the movie is the only take. They said we're not doing any more of those.
When it like jumps on him and stuff. Wow. Okay.
So like it swatted him pretty good. I think he was hospitalized. I want to say.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was like a serious thing, and I think. Our boy Atreyu got it a couple times. I think he got injured on like a horse ride too at one point. Like got thrown and stepped on by a horse. And I'm like, that's like a 12-year-old boy. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know, stuntmen.
No one could handle nobody could fill his shoes. He hunts the purple buffaloes.
No one could fill his moccasins.
Ooh. That brings us, of course, to that ending.
Yes.
The ending that, so this is interesting for me, because as, if you had, quizzed me, I'd be like, oh, the horse, the most heartbreaking thing in the world. Oh, the ending is like two beautiful children screaming and crying. I'm not into it. He yells his name, it's his mom, that's dumb. I'm already tuned out. I'm already like, what's the next thing we're gonna watch? I'm already done. It hit me this time. So it's like the horse, zero reaction. This ending, when she says they were with him at the bookstore, and I got those tingles that you get when something cool happens in a thing.
They were with him when he hid from the boys in the bookstore. But that's impossible!
Make the connections, and it cutting back between their argument, the Empress and Atreyu, cutting it back to Bastion, him be like, that's impossible, and this whole thing, and everything building. I think I was so high off that one line, but once it climaxes there, I was really into it. I really felt it. I appreciated it more now than I did as a kid.
But I didn't get in touch with an Earthling.
Yes, you did.
I only didn't like the setting so much for that final conversation with the Empress, because I thought you let in with this amazing thing where the world is just floating crap, and oh no, but the tower, the ivory tower is still there, and okay, and then their thing was just kind of in a void or something.
After he joins? Yeah, it was interesting. Well, because the whole world's gone now. It's finally gone.
And I don't know. I guess I wanted something more like the interdimensional part of the Navigator, Flight of the Navigator,
with weird,
some shit happening, something.
Well, that's
or even just how they had the weird smoke, just I don't know. Because something, because some of our visuals are so impressive that I thought that was a little lacking for me. But I guess it's an emotional scene.
It's supposed to be, I think. Yeah. I love when they're in space because there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
Well, nothing. There you go. And there's asteroids and stuff, but they can breathe. Everything's fine, right?
It's deep. The dying of dreams.
There you go.
That's what it is. It's the world over giving up on dreams and fantasy, and that is the destroying of this world, just slipping into nothing. You're like, oh shit, nothing. That's a hard concept to grasp.
No, and that's what I was gonna build up to. Is once Bastion's in there, she just has the one little grain of sand, and this is all that's left.
One grain of sand. It is all that remains of my vast empire.
Right, and and they are in this void, which I think is meant to make you feel like nothing.
Yeah.
The sound design's also different there. She doesn't have her Avril Lavigne makeup on, anymore. Everything's very different. It's very quiet. It's very sterile and stuff. But yeah, I as a message, I think as a kid, and that's almost painful because that was the part I was like, I'm done with this movie. There's no more turtles. There's no more wolves. I'm out. This is the part where it's it's so easy for all this stuff to be destroyed and to let nothing just take over everything. And it's just as easy to start whatevering, right?
Yeah.
And that message of no, write down those cool ideas you have, kids. Keep that stuff going. Think about stuff. Watch things and make up your own episodes in your head. Don't be spoon-fed every single, dollop of interesting stuff in your life.
Get a jaunty song in your heart and hit the road,
literally.
Kids.
Like watch several movies and be like, what if Thor fought this person or something? Do something at least. Combine things, remix stuff, think about things differently. It's an excellent message where he gets to now think up stuff and rebuild this whole fantasy world. I dig it.
It is something. I in that scene though, I couldn't like take my eyes off her. She has like a weird what do you even call those? Like when they put like young children into like a teen pageant or like a little kid pageant. What are those called? She has like a vibe because like her teeth are like super like fake looking.
Oh,
and
wow.
I finally read something that said like they are fake. and like she apparently lost her front teeth right before the movie started. She's a kid. They didn't like punch her out. She's like 11 or 8 or something. Like,
I pictured like she had bad teeth and they were like, here's fake teeth for you. Okay.
No.
Yeah, she's just so young that she doesn't have front
she has
teeth.
that like Jean Benet look to her, which is
yes.
is always kind of creepy when like little kids have perfect teeth.
No, like she's alienating. She's like a creepy adult-looking kid and stuff, right? And Bastion is so goofy looking, and Atreyu is so whatever, like you said, Last of the Mohicans-y looking. Yeah, it's weird. It makes you it's like striking as a kid. It's a weird vibe.
It almost is the Last of the Mohicans outfit.
It's like got a thing, or like Peter Pan / that, right? He's got a weird look.
Yeah, but it's a fun movie.
And nobody gives a hoot about me and my stupid bat.
So like I mentioned, it's kind of deep, the dying of dreams, but like it really gets real when you like settle on the rockbiter who is about to face his nothing willingly because he's so distraught that he let his little friends go.
Up to the nothing.
Yeah, his whole these hands.
Yeah,
I thought these were strong hands.
I've that's one of the many lines that I autistically fixated on in my life. If I screw something up or if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, it used to pop into my head like, it seemed like such strong hands. And like, and he's just sitting there like lamenting his inability because he's like, I should be so strong. I'm the rockbiter, baby. And like, I couldn't even stop this. There's nothing we can do to stop this, right? And it comes at that hopeless point of the arc of the movie when like, he's just like, and you know, mechanically you think, oh, he's gonna recruit the people. Where's the snail guy? And then it cuts back to him and he's just like, I'm extremely depressed.
They look like big, good, strong hands, don't they?
There's nothing we can do.
You do get a feeling through the whole thing that this would be a great ensemble team of people to have because they are all coming from different parts of the world to warn the Empress of the nothing coming.
My people are sending me to the ivory tower, to the Empress for help.
We are the same. We are on the same mission.
That it would make sense to team up with Atreyu now to go do this thing, but really they're not in the movie that much at all.
The nothing pulled them right out of my hands.
No, like in a lesser movie made today or whatever, that would have been the whole thing. Like Atreyu's leaving, the bad guy tells the friend, they try to follow him or they meet up with him, and then it comes together. It's like, here's your team. And then you face challenges, and then like, oh, well, the snail could do that though. He can go up the wall. Or, oh, the bad guy can fly up and grab the thing and bring it down to you, so you don't have to climb the thing. Oh, great. And everyone would like contribute, and that's what it would be about.
The little man with his racing snail, the night hawk, even the stupid bat.
But here it's like, no, we're gonna kill your horse immediately. We're gonna lose those characters until the end, when it should be a hopeful moment and be like, no, the strongest, biggest, most powerful thing is like, oh, by the way, I was just in there. There's nothing you can like. Don't even try. It's over.
No, it's brutal.
Nothing. I will just sit here and let it take me away too.
Speaking of brutal, the eyes on that horse when he's dying. You tell horses don't often get on a mechanical platform and get lowered into water.
Horses don't like that.
He is emoting fear, and it works perfect for his character.
Yeah, he's method.
Yeah.
He has to really be sinking into this black like ooze or whatever.
I do love those rocks fucking just falling from his mouth and landing on all those motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, one of the times we say rock biter, that'll be the thing. It's, ooh, and just, and they're so big. They're like death.
They're murder size, yeah.
They're murder size.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
He's well.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions.